Hello everyone, this is Barcelona News World. The following are the headline we are going to discuss. Barcelona fan favorite at risk of missing El Clasico if booked versus Real Valladolid. Ex-Inter Milan defender argues, there was an abyss of difference in one-sided match versus Barcelona. Adds, don't be fooled by Dumfries brace. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Welcome. With the second leg of the Champions League semi-final against Inter Milan looming and a season-defining El Clasico on the horizon, Hansi Flick faces a delicate balancing act as Barcelona prepare to face bottom-of-the-table Valladolid. The Catalans travel to the already relegated side for what, on paper, seems a straightforward La Liga fixture, but the timing and context surrounding it raise serious questions about team selection. Valladolid may be mathematically out of the top flight, but this fixture has major implications for Barca, not because of the opponent but because of what follows. The next La Liga match is none other than the decisive clash with Real Madrid at Montjuic on May 11th, a fixture that could swing the title race. That means Flick must think beyond 3 points in Valladolid. He must think about yellow cards. Players at risk. Barca currently have 4 players walking a suspension tightrope. With Jules Koundé ruled out through injury, the focus shifts to the other 3, namely Íñigo Martínez, Rafinha, and Xavi. Of those, Martinez and Rafinha have been heavily involved in recent weeks and are likely candidates to be rested. Flick won't want to risk losing them to suspension with El Clasico on the line. Xavi, however, presents a more complicated scenario. Having played just 42 minutes across the Copa del Rey final and the first leg against Inter, the young midfielder is widely expected to start against Valladolid. A problematic situation with Xavi. Flick sees him as a key piece in maintaining midfield intensity and balance, especially with so many rotations planned. But here lies the risk. One more yellow and Xavi misses the Madrid clash. In a match that could allow for some experimentation and rest, Flick will be urging Xavi to maintain discipline without compromising his trademark energy and aggression. That is easier said than done for a player who thrives on physical battles and emotional intensity. The danger is real. Losing Xavi for the Clasico could be a major blow to Barcelona's tactical structure. His versatility, pressing ability and willingness to cover ground give Flick important flexibility, especially in matches where the midfield battle can define the outcome. Ex-Inter Milan defender argues, there was an abyss of difference in one-sided match versus Barcelona. Adds, don't be fooled by Dumfries brace. Former defender Daniele Adani feels that there was an abyss in terms of quality between Barcelona and Inter Milan on Wednesday. The former Nerazzurri defender gave his thoughts on the Champions League semi-final first leg on the Viva El Football podcast, via FC Inter 1908. He also argued fans shouldn't be fooled by the Denzel Dumfries brace. Inter Milan got a big result against Barcelona on Wednesday evening. The 3-3 draw is certainly a result that can be a platform for Inter in the second leg. Particularly playing in front of their own fans, they will feel momentum and confidence to book their place in the final. Moreover, the match was an all-time classic, with 6 goals going in and having the lead twice before nearly. For his part, however, former Inter Milan defender Daniele Adani was not all that convinced. He argued that the difference between the two teams was an abyss. But that has to be said. Sometimes in football, absolute greatness teaches you a lesson by exposing all your flaws and negating all your positive qualities. Well, almost all of them, added Adani. Because Inter did have one source of great chances. Set pieces. The former defender argued that Thuram had a masterpiece of a goal. Then the 2 goals came from set pieces. Inter never trailed against Barcelona at Barcelona's home. In open play, I'd say there was a phase between the 65th and 80th minute where Inter had some counterattacks with more players forwards. Some moments when they were defending not with 10 players but with 6. And they were actually thinking of leaving 3 or 4 players open in space, Adani noted. Not just one stranded in the desert. After a 3-3 draw in the first leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-final tie, FC Barcelona and Inter Milan are set to meet once again on Tuesday for the second leg of this penultimate stage of the competition. The aggregate scoreline of the game means the two sides have an equal opportunity to advance to the final, and thus, both will be ready to give their all to win this second leg. Both teams keeping an eye on second leg. These intentions are quite clear from how the two teams are reportedly going to approach their respective domestic league games, which are sandwiched between this semi-final tie. Barcelona are expected to make heavy rotations for their upcoming La Liga match against Real Valladolid, even though they have Real Madrid closely following them on the table. Meanwhile, Inter Milan's position in Serie A is even weaker, as they are currently placed second and are trailing Roma by 3 points. Inter Milan to face Hellas Verona with a heavily rotated side. Still, according to Sport, Simone Inzaghi will put up a heavily rotated side for the upcoming league match against Hellas Verona, and only 2 players from the lineup against Barcelona will make up the starting 11 for this game. The 2 unchanged players will be Jan Bisek and the goalkeeper Jan Sommer. The goalkeeper is not expected to accumulate a lot of fatigue from this game, while it is not clear whether Bisek will start against the Blaugranes in the second leg, as Inzaghi is hoping that Benjamin Pavard will return from his injury in time for this game. Other important players like Acerbi, Batoni, Dumfries, Di Marco, Calhanoglu, Mkhitaryan, Barella, and Thuram will all be rested for this league game. Lautaro Martinez will be unable to participate in this game as he was injured during the game against Barcelona, and is highly doubtful to be able to play in the second leg on Tuesday. Thus, like the Blaugranes, Inter Milan will also come into this second leg quite fresh and willing to give their everything on the pitch. See you on next video.